and gentlemen, welcome back to Leaders Dialogue Show. And Mr. John Nganga, welcome back. We are at the point of the disadvantages of dictator.
Yes, and I know the dictators are listening to me. You know, some of it is personality. You have a personality that likes to control. So you tend to, when you are made a chairman of a meeting, you want to be in total control. You want to be the one thinking, the one directing things. And you have said there are several disadvantages. And one disadvantage is when people realize their contributions are not appreciated, when they are stopped from what they want to do, they end up switching off. And they can actually, my boss used to say, you can resign internally. You have not given a letter to your leader to say, I am done. But the truth is, you are just sitting there. You have what I normally call, when we are talking about motivation, we call it a wheelbarrow. A wheelbarrow is very useful, but then you leave it, it's where it stays. So dictators suffer while they're having teams that will obey as long as he's around. He moves away, and they can't do, because their motivation is external. They can't move on their own. And then we say the second thing, that's a problem. When you are that kind of a leader, things will go very quickly, but you'll not last. Because somebody somewhere in the team will be trying to overthrow you. They will be looking for ways and means of either resigning out of your team or ensuring somebody else takes over. Now, when you waste a lot of effort, instead of progressing the task, you are spending a lot of time thinking how to overthrow the leader, you have a problem. And thirdly, when you are a dictator, you suffer more. Because you see, nothing happens without your presence. When you are a leader rather than a dictator, it's influence that works. So it means you can even be away and things will be running normally. Because what motivates people in the team is not the leader. It is the objective they are all seeking. And they see the team leader more as a team player, one among equals. So you can see it's a dangerous thing to have dictatorship. So they are talking about that dictatorship in the church. Things will happen very fast when a pastor is a dictator, but they will not last. Whether you're talking about that dictator as a president of a country, things will happen very fast, but they will not last. There always comes somebody. Even the country I was referring to earlier, you know, somebody finally, the guy had to move aside, because you can't have a dictator for too long. There will always be somebody trying to. So if you want somewhere to last, so that you reach your objective, then you must avoid being a dictator. Lastly, when a leader is a dictator, chances are he will lose people's trust. And so if somebody can see that if I took away something out of here, he can't discover, there is no commitment and cohesiveness that will allow him not to progress. Like if he sees somebody stealing, doesn't see why he should stop him. I'm not the one stealing. There is no commitment. So dictatorship is not something you want to encourage.
That's true.
Yeah.
So viewers, in our own small way, it's good to work as team, not as dictators. And the issue of planning, why is it necessary even to plan, even on matters spiritual?
You see, one of the weaknesses that we as Africans have is that because of our superstitious background, planning ahead was not seen as very, very important. We wanted to keep the status quo. And we have many strengths as Africans. That's a weakness. If I saw you seated in a way that you are likely to fall, I can't tell you are going to fall. Because if I tell you are likely to fall and then you actually fall, your relatives will be on me. They'll say I'm a witch. So we wait until the person falls. After he has fallen, you say, hiya, I knew it. I knew he was going to fall. Now, if you knew it, why did you stop me?
That's true.
That's our culture. Instead of planning ahead, we react to what has happened. But there was a way of stopping it from happening. Planning is being proactive, thinking ahead. You know, there are three types of people. One type of a person is a person who is unchanging. He never learns from experience. Things happen, it's the same. For example, he takes a girl out, he's a young man, he takes a girl out, then because of his pride, the girl says, I'll never take you out again. He says, you are full of yourself. He gets another girl, he's very lucky, girls keep running for him. He takes the girl out again, said, I can't go for a date with you. You are full of yourself. The third one will be exactly the same. That, and there are many people, it sounds like we think he's a fool, but there are many people like that, where they go through repeating the same things all the time because they don't think of what is happening. They say, what is the definition of madness? Is to do the same things the same way, but you're waiting for a different result. Now, if what you did with the first girl and the second girl is what you're going to do with the third girl, why are you surprised that you have been dropped? Exactly. So you need to understand in this idea of being proactive, the negative side of it is where you do not at all think about the experience. God gave us experiences and he wants us to learn from that experience. That's the first category of people. Second category are people who are reactionary. The first one is unchanging, do not learn from experience. Reactionary are very good because for them, every experience they sit back and say, I was dropped by the first girl. What exactly was the problem? She told me I was sure of myself. Was she right? Yes. For most of the meetings, she would try to say something, and I would always be an expert. I never allowed her to talk. If I really ever want to get married, I must learn to shut my mouth. Now, he is learning. A reactionary person is a person who analyzes what has happened and learns out of it so that he can be better the next time.
That's true.
So, reactionary people, normally we think of them as negative, but they're not as bad as the unchanging ones who don't learn from experience. So, they are good people. However, the third category is what Jesus would recommend. The proactive. The proactive are not like the unchanging one. They are not like the reactive ones. The proactive do not wait for mistakes to happen. They predict them. Say, if I'm going with this girl out, what could make her unhappy? They always say, what could make her happy? That's positive. But they also force themselves to think, what could make her unhappy? Hey, this is a very talkative girl. I've seen her in class. So if I really want to have a good time with her, I'll say very little until she asks me questions. And you know, talkative people like to talk. So by the time you go out of that date, the girl already wants to be your wife. Because you had predicted her properly. You knew what you get. You analyzed her before the date.
That's true.
That's true in management, true in homes. Proactive people think, I want to buy my wife this dress. Is she likely to like it? You don't just say, I like the color. No, it's not about you, it's about your wife. Will she like the color? You want to begin a shop. And of course, you have seen somebody else keeping a shop and it's producing a lot of profit. But you ask yourself, what does he do to get that money? Am I willing to do it? Maybe he's bringing in very cheap things through corruption. Do I want to follow that thing? What can go wrong if I follow that route? That would need to be proactive. A proactive person is a person who he never enters into something without first of all finding out why do it? What are the benefits? Question number 2, what can prevent me getting those benefits? What are the challenges? Number 3, what are the positive things about the project? Then he prepares, preempts all those things. For example, you want to take a loan to begin a project. A proactive person was look, I need this money. For what? What will I get out of it? You don't take a loan unless you can see why you want to, what are the benefits. Question number 2, will I be able to pay? Is there any possibility I can be unable to pay? He is positive, he is analytical enough to know many people have been unable to pay loans, never intended not to pay. So you think, what can go wrong? If it went wrong, can I cope? For example, if you take your house where your children sleep as a collateral for a loan, you are not very clever.
Not really.
Because the worst can happen. Like you have a good, consistent job. If you are fired, you'll not only be out of job, you'll also be out of house. So you think, you analyze, and what is called the worst case scenario. If you cannot cope with it, You says, do I really want to go this route? Okay, that's why people think it's negative. So traditionally, it's to be it's kind of it's not supported. Now, but you need to understand, even Christians have the same problem with it. They feel like it's lack of faith. Why are you analyzing like this? God will be with us. So the average Christian will not be a proactive person. If you say we are organizing a crusade, what can go wrong? So what's wrong with you? Don't you have faith in God? But you know, Luke chapter 14, from verse 28 down, Jesus talked about the importance of planning, the importance of being proactive. He said, if you are building a tower, and you build it without a plan, in the middle of the tower you have been able to, won't people laugh at you? And Jesus was saying, even me, I will laugh at you. Because you should never have started the thing before being proactive, analyzing, planning. You look at the cost, you look at your resources. If you see you can't manage, don't start the project. The other example he says is people who fight for nothing. Just say, I can beat you. What you haven't analyzed is I used to be a boxer. You should have looked at me properly. Now you come fighting me and I end up changing your dental formula. Or because you do not plan before entering into something. So can you see then, whether you're a church, the Bible is teaching you, don't enter into a project unless you can be proactive about it. And when you are proactive, and you can see the challenges, it doesn't mean you don't enter the project. You now know what the issues are, and you can go to God in prayer. Most people who are proactive are prayer warriors. If you are not productive, you don't even know what to pray for. You say there will be a crusade next week. You can't see any problem. So what do you pray about? Prayer is, according to Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, I think it says, don't be anxious about anything. Instead, by prayer and supplication, make requests known unto God. How will you have requests when you have not analyzed proactively and planned out and seen what the risks are? Is when you go to God in prayer.
Excellent.
Yes.
We are very much grateful, Mr. John Nganga, for your having time to be with us. And viewers, we've come to the end of our Leaders Dialogues today, and we trust that those in positions of leadership, they will be better planners. They will not be reactive, but they will be proactive. And continue forwarding your comments on our Twitter page at Leaders Dialogue Show and our Facebook page at Leaders Dialogue. Until next Monday, same time, same place. Keep glowing as a leader. Thank you.
We are the new generation. We are the youth of the nation. High in the sky. We are the new generation. Leader. Leader. Leader.